Good evening. Sitting in for Indira Craig, I am Miriam Abdulkawi, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News tonight. Many questions about BTL buying his family's company, but no answers. Tonight, we'll show you how the PM dodged 7 News. And tonight, opposition to the SpeedNet acquisition is growing. The social partners and the opposition had meetings. They say they are ready to start demonstration. Plus, one prominent minister expresses deep reservations. We'll have that. Also, we'll have the latest on the mystifying fish kill in the Belize River. Plus, tonight, the family of Samuel Chi is questioning the circumstances of his death at sea. These stories and more are ahead on 7 News tonight, so please stay tuned.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Dengue and Zika alert. Do your part by preventing mosquito breeding. The Ministry of Health reminds the public that as we enter the rainy season, be aware of the dangers of dengue, chikungunya, and Zika. These are infectious diseases that are transmitted by the bite of Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus mosquitoes. These mosquitoes are most active in early morning and late afternoon. Activities that should be done to prevent dengue and Zika include: avoid having containers that can collect water in your yard. Cover water storage containers such as drums. Change the water in flower pots every 4 or 5 days. These are ideal breeding sites for the mosquito. With the elimination of breeding sites in and around the yard, dengue and Zika can be avoided. Dengue and Zika begin with sudden onset of high fever. Other signs and symptoms include rash, joint pain, eye pain. The public is also encouraged to use mosquito repellent spray or lotion on the body or clothing. Do your part by preventing mosquito breeding. A health and wellness message from your Ministry of Health.
These charter means aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Shirley Kelso, and here's
What's ahead for you on 7 News tonight? We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indira Craig.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Rev up your engines at Puma Energy and get ready for an exciting chance to fuel, fill, and win. For every $30 purchase on fuel, a liter of lubricant, or $10 at Super 7, get a ticket to win one of 20 fuel prizes of $1,000. And here's the thrill. Fill up with premium Clean Tech Pro and double your chances of winning. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Head to Puma Energy and Super 7 today for your chance to fuel, fill, and win.
Altoona is one of the most visited Mayan city up until lately. The adjacent communities have collaborated together to see how they can get a space here that the wood carvers could actually market and sell their product. Not having the POS machine in the past, we have lost a lot of sales. Atlantic Bank helps supporting our business, giving us the opportunity to get the POS machine. Now with the POS machine, we are able to do more sales, and that will, also bring more, finance to our families.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
As a plumber for 25 years, I believe in quality, and that's why I shop for all my plumbing supplies at Benny's. Cheaper PVC pipes and fittings may save a little today, but leaks can cost much more tomorrow. And that's why I shop at Benny's, because quality is savings.
Quality is savings at Benny's. Best for you and best for me. At Benny's, it's the quality. Benny's, quality and savings.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We begin our newscast tonight with one of our top stories where BTL's decision to acquire SpeedNet continues to dominate the public narrative, with the social partners, the opposition, and many Belizeans criticizing the move. And with all this emphasis on the most pressing issue in the news right now, what does the Prime Minister have to say about it? Well, that's what we wanted to find out, so we went to Orange Walk this morning, where the PM had a scheduled lunch session with the Miss Earth Belize delegates at the Maracas Bar and Grill. We tried to talk with him before he entered the restaurant, but he only said 4 words to us: "Welcome to Orange Walk." Then we waited as he spent 2 hours dining with the delegates. As he came out of the restaurant, we approached him again to try and ask him about the acquisition of SpeedNet, a company part owned by his family. This time, he had no words for us, even though we asked for at least 5 minutes, but he still stopped to speak with another of the delegates before driving off in a Toyota Tacoma. Here's how it all played out.
Hi, PM. Can we expect an interview afterwards, PM? We came all the way from City, PM. We're not getting an interview afterwards, sir. Prime Minister, I'm going to give me 5 minutes, sir. At least we'll talk about the event. 10 minutes, a little while. sorry, we'll give it at least 5 minutes, sir. There are lots of questions to be asked. The people need to know.
And while the Prime Minister won't even offer a word to explain why the BTL board he appointed has decided to acquire $80 million, a company partly owned by his family, tonight there are murmurs of dissent in his cabinet. Some ministers don't like it one bit, according to reports. And Julius Espat has been one of the most strident critics of an acquisition leading to a monopoly. And today we reached out to him for comment. Espat told us he is recovering from COVID, but referred us to his comments made on February 2nd of this year and told us his position has not changed. Here's what he said at that time.
Consultation is never enough. I think there's a misconception that you have these privately, publicly owned companies and they believe that they don't have to consult with the Belizean people. That I have a serious problem with. You either own it or you don't own it. And we own it. So if we own it, then you have to come to us to ask our opinion. And that's why Cabinet was reluctant in making a position, because it was waiting for all the consultations to happen, including with the media. The media is extremely important in this. The concern that the media has if you have a monopoly and it can affect them in the future is something that has to be addressed. And it has to be put in place before an agreement is done. It's just my point of view. And that we need competition, well, from the day I was born, that is what I believe in having competition. And the reason that you have two telecom companies is because the concept of competition was there from the beginning. So I have listened to what BTL has had to say. And as a company, any company wants a monopoly. Channel 7 would want it, Channel 5 would want it, Plus TV would want it. Everybody in the business community would love a monopoly, but that doesn't mean that it is in the best interest of the consumers. And that is where I believe we have to be looking at and considering.
In a text message to our news director today, Espat added, quote, "I also do not believe the true owners have been properly consulted. The people of Belize own BTL," end quote. He added that he is not able to say more at this moment until after Tuesday's cabinet meeting. And swelling the chorus of disapproval this afternoon was the social sector partners, including the Belize Chamber of Commerce. They issued a joint statement comprehensively criticizing the SpeedNet acquisition. First off, they are calling for an immediate halt to the proposed acquisition and lament, quote, "Despite repeated calls for transparency and regulatory scrutiny, fundamental questions concerning legality, competition, governance, valuation, conflicts of interest, and the protection of the public interest remain unanswered." First, they refer to the Telecommunications Act, which forbids telecommunication companies from making deals that aim to eliminate competition. Then they demand that BTL, quote, "publish a public justification for the proposed acquisition, including the commercial rationale, due diligence undertaken, the 5 most recent years of audited financial statements for SpeedNet Communications Limited," end quote. They also demand that, quote, "the Office of the Prime Minister and Cabinet publicly state the government's position on the proposed acquisition, the public interest considerations supporting that position, and the measures taken to identify and manage any actual or perceived conflicts of interest." And they call on the PUC to, quote, "publish its assessment of the likely impact of the proposed acquisition and competition and consumers," that is. In closing, and this is the key part, they say, quote, "the social partners are prepared to pursue all lawful, regulatory, parliamentary, administrative, and legal remedies available, including peaceful demonstrations and, where appropriate, seeking injunctive relief as permitted under the Telecommunications Act and any other relief available at law to ensure public interest drives decision-making," end quote. That statement came from the Chamber and the Belize network of NGOs and the NTUCB. And today, the NTUCB held a meeting with the UDP to discuss their shared issues. We'll tell you about that shortly. But first, the NTUCB president, Ella Waite, told us about yesterday's meeting with the Chamber in detail.
Again, we are all on the same page. It's a matter that's very concerning. We've always had meetings with the social partners, and we did not meet for a while. And it's sad that sometimes it will take these national issues to get us back around the table. But we are partners in ensuring that Belize goes on the correct path whenever it comes to any kind of investment, whenever it comes to any kind of negative effects on our Belizean people. The meeting was very progressive. I think we all agree that we must take action now. Time is not on our side, and that is what we're doing. The time is now to move.
Waite claims that everyone is on the same page and shares the same sentiments toward the acquisition, including the leader of the opposition. When we spoke to party leader Tracy Pantone after today's meeting with the NTUCB, which took place at the PSU office, she shared that their collaboration is essential in order to send a strong message to the government.
It's sufficient to say that we had a very productive meeting, almost 2 hours. We discussed the issues that we have common concerns, particularly the national issues before us. BTL, of course, being one of those important issues that require the kind of collaboration to ensure that the government understands that there are a number of organizations, including NTUCB, that share the same concerns. And also we discussed specific activities that we could do together to ensure that our voices are heard and amplified by the executive of the government, to ensure that the message is not lost, that the consolidation of the telecommunication industry, the way it is being handled, is not acceptable to us, and in our view does not serve the national development interests of this country.
And while Pantone was unable to share what those future joint activities will look like, President Waite told us that they have to share the recommendations made by the UDP with their membership before they decide to move forward.
The NTUCB, from ever since, has always met with anybody that wants to meet with them, as long as it has to do with work, with issues that affect workers, or Belizeans, or national issues on a whole. This is the third time we've been meeting with the opposition on various issues. We have actually agreed today to continue this engagement with having quarterly meetings, as we do with the Minister of Labor, and as we would have wanted with the Prime Minister, but that is now twice a year. But yes, we had this, the leader of the opposition requested this meeting probably 2 weeks ago. We asked our council when would be a perfect date, and today was the date that we decided long before this issue with BTL and the acquisition came up. So we went ahead with the meeting. We had some persons joining from NTUCB virtually, and some were here with us at the office. Well, of course, the issue obviously came up with the acquisition, and both of us, the opposition and NTUCB, are still at a point saying no to the acquisition. At this point, we don't have enough information. We don't know about the legality of the process. So we're both on the same page with that. On the way we move forward, there were some suggestions from both ends. We do have to go back to our different constituencies about those suggestions. NTUCB goes through a process where we have to engage our members in any decision and then have a vote. We have been meeting, as you know, with the social partners, NTUCB with the social partners, and we have begun to chart a way ahead as well with this issue. And my job now is to go to our meeting with the social partners and bring these recommendations from the opposition to see if they would agree to such recommendations in a way forward.
While we might not see Pantone and her party in full battle mode anytime soon, she told us that they will remain actively engaged in their collaboration with the NTUCB.
Was any decision taken for both movements to come together and take to the streets?
We are not about to discuss or divulge the specific activities that we have agreed to. Those will unfold over the next couple of days. Um, Obviously, the members of the General Council need to update their stakeholders, and we have an obligation to update our stakeholders as well, and then we move forward.
What's your thoughts on the senators deciding to walk out of the Senate on Tuesday? Was it prudent and wise of them?
Absolutely. I think it sent a very strong and a very clear message. And certainly, we have our lead senator right there who led the charge. We're very proud of him. But certainly, I think for the first time in Belize's history, we had that kind of collaboration. And it, in my view, sent a very powerful signal and should have sent a very powerful message to the government that we will not sit by idly and allow them to do as they please in this country.
And while the unions consult with their membership, do they run the risk of having BTL rush ahead to consummate the acquisition while the social partners are still plotting? Wait says her ducks are already lined up.
We have already started to plan. And we started to plan from last week. The NTUCB sent our letter to BTL telling them to not go ahead with this acquisition. We are still at no. We do not feel that we are ready to move forward. We do not know. We have not gotten the answers we needed. And the same way the BCCI and the other social partners feel, the churches. So we had met yesterday. We have charted our way forward. We'll be meeting again, it's either today or tomorrow, to continue that way forward. But I cannot reveal what those steps are at this point. But believe me, we are not waiting for any ducks to be lined up. We have lined up our ducks already.
And stay tuned after the break, the mystery stone crusher in Belmopan. Is it really for Ricondev? And who is profiting from it? And we'll have the latest on the fish kill in the Belize River. Stay tuned for more news.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
As a sheetrock installer for decor construction, I know the job is only as good as the materials I use. Using inferior products can lead to more waste, weak core integrity, sagging, and more time fixing the problem instead of finishing the job right. And that's why I trust USG Drywall, Ply-Sem, and Best Screws from Venice because quality is savings.
Quality is savings at Benny's. Best for you and best for me. At Benny's, it's the quality. Benny's, quality and savings.
Look here, your kitchen light there and you been in the kitchen.
I'm going back in there right now.
And the coffee maker?
Just to try keep me the coffee warm for later.
Where did you know?
I'll try to think about what to eat.
You know the more you open and close the fridge, it takes longer for the food cool.
Uh-huh.
For a hot day like today, it burns more energy. You charge your phone right now?
No.
Plug it out then. You really only wash 2 Lee socks and 1 Lee shirt? You don't know what small load burn the same amount of electricity as large loads?
But this is my favorite shirt.
You have to be more energy efficient. Use large loads. This AC, they blow hard. You know, if you keep the temperature at 25 degrees Celsius or higher, you burn less energy and you also keep the place cool. And for a nice day like today, turn off the AC, open up the house and make some fresh breeze come in.
You know what? I think I get it now. As consumers, we need to be more energy efficient and practice energy conservation.
Belize is calling for change, and the future is in her hands. Meet our 4 incredible delegates competing for the crown of Miss Earth Belize 2026. Join us for the national pageant on August 8, 2026 at the Belize City Civic Center. Tickets, general admission $10, VIP $100, and ultra VIP tables $1,000. Seating for 5, wine and charcuterie included.
Tickets will be available for purchase at all Pink Boutique locations, Onyx Beauty Lounge, and Medisco.
Be a part of the movement. Beauty for a cause. Miss Earth Belize 2026.
Create something I know. You could try your luck, Papa. I want to try my luck. I like trying luck.
Belize, our nation's telecommunications future, is under threat. The decision to merge BTL and Smart is not progress. It is a betrayal of competition, of transparency, and of the people's trust. This acquisition hands more power to a monopoly, silence consumer choice, and risk higher prices for families and businesses alike. Those 8 members that voted in favor of this are traitors to the country and the people of Belize. Instead of strengthening our economy, this move weakens it. Instead of protecting Belizeans, it protects vested interests. We deserve accountability, not backroom deals. Belize, wise up. Say no to the acquisition of Smart. Say yes to fair competition, lower prices, and a future where the people, not corporations, win.
If you're tired of the baking in your house with the only Cocoa Wawa fan and finally realize that the time to get yourself a good, durable, reliable fan, contact Maya's panel website or social media. Maya's going to hook you up with one of their 18-inch heavy-duty tripod fan where might could even change your life as it keep you cool in this hot Belizean weather. Yes man, because their 18-inch heavy-duty tripod fan from Maya's not just could blow your lip back way, they might could blow away your mind if you say blow away the toxic konomono out of your life and the bad vibes out of your house. Order your 18-inch heavy-duty tripod fan from Maya's website or on their social media, and Maya's going to ship out your fan anywhere countrywide ASAP. Not believe me? Visit mayaselectronics.bz right now to order your fan today.
Nokche Adventure Park came about from the birth of COVID. Everything was on pause for tourism. So we decided, let's do something different. We got 10 bikes, 10 ATVs, and we were just doing ATV tours. Shortly after, we were approached by the cruise lines. We agreed to work with them, and from them, it just started growing. We set up the chocolate tour first, and then from there, we went into the culinary experience at the different Mayan cultures. We have the gift shop, the cooking class, the shaman, and the healing, and it just all came together. When you reach a certain point, you need investors, you need partners to come into your business. Atlantic Bank does make it easy. Even my 7-year-old could do it.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Drop it like it's hot.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We continue our newscast tonight with that story about Samuel Chi, where 2 days have passed since the body of Samuel Chi was returned to his family after it was found at sea 36 hours after he and Albert Vaccaro were reported missing. The men had gone on a fishing trip on Sunday, but did not return. Vaccaro was found alive, and the following day, she was found 4 miles away in the water. The Coast Guard has yet to recover the boat the men used, and now tensions and suspicion are rising about what exactly happened on the open sea and how only one of them survived. Chi's family has made it public that they suspect foul play and claim there are many unanswered questions. Police have not released what, if any, information they managed to get from Vaccaro, who was hospitalized after he was found at sea. But this very short clip is the only piece of evidence the family is pointing to where Vaccaro is talking about someone grabbing them. Here's that clip.
If them bally grab, if them bally grab, if them bally grab.
Very short, but that is all that's circulating, and we will continue to follow this story and bring you updates as it develops. And continuing with one of our top stories tonight, residents of the Belize River Valley are still waiting to hear what is causing the fish kill in their communities. The Belize River remains the country's largest freshwater source, and tonight, fish are still dying. The issue is now being reported in communities downriver, namely Maypen and Grace Bank, and there are still no definitive answers. But yesterday, we went on the Belize River and might have found the source of the problem. Our very own Jaleesa Roberts reports.
Yesterday, we spent hours traveling a portion of the Belize River, from St. Paul's Bank to Mortomoro area, documenting the extent of the fish kill. But for locals and representatives from the community baboon sanctuary like Conway Young, the fish kill has sounded many alarms.
I don't think anyone has seen the amount that we've seen on the Belize River, so that's definitely concerning and alarming. No? A lot of people still do subsistence fishing, and so they rely on that. And then more importantly as well too, that most of the small cattle ranches depend on the river to access water for their livestock. So that's the other major ways that people rely on the river, you know.
The Department of the Environment issued its first official public advisory last night as investigators race to determine what caused the mass fish kill affecting communities along the Belize River Valley. While the investigation continues, the government is warning the public not to consume fish or other aquatic resources from affected areas, not to drink untreated river water, and not to use untreated river water for cooking, livestock, or pets until further notice.
They did come out with a team. They did some samples, and they said that they will get back to us. But to date, I haven't heard anything back from them as yet. So we're still waiting.
While dead fish remain in several locations, one area stood out. A waterway connected to a network of canals leading towards Santander Sugar area. Unlike the main Belize River, the water inside Labor Creek appeared dramatically different. It was noticeably darker with heavy algae buildup and a thick muddy sludge coating sections of the creek. The contrast between the creek and the Belize River was impossible to ignore.
Coming up this far, so we got in at St. Paul's and we came off for like an hour and a half boat ride. We haven't seen any fish kill coming down, but we can see significant difference in the water color when we got to Laboring Creek. And then we came to another point which was actually a canal that was closed and recently reopened.
However, information obtained by our newsroom suggests that organic discharge may have entered the river system, reducing dissolved oxygen levels and causing fish to suffocate. Those sources indicate that the river's natural flow may already be diluting the affected water, and if no additional discharge occurs, the worst of the event could pass soon. Although those claims have not officially been confirmed, the Department of the Environment has commenced an investigation, but has so far released no conclusive findings, only saying, quote, "The joint exercise included water quality monitoring and sampling, as well as assessments of land clearing activities, potential wastewater discharge sources, and other factors that may have contributed to impacts on the aquatic environment." Tonight, the River Valley communities are pressing for answers and accountability, because for those who live along the Belize River, this isn't just an environmental issue. It is their livelihood.
But we definitely want to get to the bottom of it to see what's causing it, and if they find that it's some wrongdoing, that that those persons responsible be dealt with to the full extent of the law, no? Because the Belize River doesn't only it's not only just for the River Valley area; it's for the entire Belize district. This is where BWS gets its water from and everything, so it can have a large scale effect.
Tonight, the growing cloud of uncertainty continues to hang over the quality of the Belize District's most vital resource, water. Julissa Roberts, 7 News.
And the Santander Sugar Group has still not responded to our request for a comment. And in other news that took us down, not a murky river, but an unpaved road. We go to Belmopan, where we're still trying to unravel the mystery of the $1 million stone crusher that Recondev purchased in October of 2023. We may just have found where the material from the quarry is being dumped, and let's just say it, it's offering us an inroads to the truth. Julissa Roberts reports.
For the past 14 days, our newsroom has called the Reconstruction and Development Corporation requesting an interview with leadership. At first, the response was routine. Chairlady Myrna Waite was unavailable or out of office. Today, however, the response was markedly different. Listen to the latest exchange.
All right, let's try this for the third time in 2 weeks.
Hello, good afternoon, Recondev office.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Julissa Roberts. I'm calling from Channel 7. I wanted to know if I could speak to Miss Myrna Waite, please.
Miss Myrna Waite is not stationed in our office, Mom.
Okay, so
I
I've...
won't be able to get you an appointment with her.
Okay, this is the third time I've been calling in 2 weeks to speak to her. Did you give her my message the last time?
Well, I passed it on to our general manager, but then he informed me that she won't be stationed in our office, so we won't be able to get that for you.
Well, please let your general manager know that once again, we're inquiring about Recondev's participation in purchasing the stone crusher in 2023.
Okay, I can pass on that message then.
Alright, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
When that story was posted, it was as though we hit a piñata, and candy began falling out as different sweet pieces of information started to appear, but nothing confirmed. We had to follow it, literally. We drove once again to the yard where the stone crusher operates and followed one of the trucks coming out of there. We followed it towards the J&W area, and eventually, we found what we were looking for. These trucks with aggregate were being used to build roads in the area. So who lays down roads? Well, according to our sources, that is Recondev's domain. In that regard, it's notable that the mayor of Belmopan has not answered our question about the stone crusher, and Recondev isn't answering our calls. But one thing we know for sure is that aggregate is being extracted and material is being hauled quite likely on the public dime. So what is the secret behind the mystery machine at the mine? How long has it been used? And who is benefiting from its operation? And why did the mechanic in shipyard need to make it operational? The investigation continues. Julissa Roberts, 7 News.
We will continue pressing for answers and bring you updates. Meanwhile, the UNCAC, we have been hearing about it since 2016, but it's still not being implemented in Belize. Well, it may be because there's just no political will. During the roundtable discussion with the media, the president of the chamber discussed it candidly. Here's more.
That was signed in 2016. We are exactly 10 years milepost, and what substantively has occurred? Nothing.
And there has to be a reason for that.
There's no political will because the politicians look at it from both sides of the fence as if we're banglings or, we're putting on bangles. We won't be able to do the kind of business that we're currently doing. Long and short of that whole story. At the end of the day, and then we look like fools in the international community because we've signed on to something and we're not holding our end of the bargain.
And in other news, we go back to Tuesday's historic Senate walkout. It is the first time in the 25 years of having independent senators that they walked out in protest. They did so along with the UDP members, that is, in opposition to the BTL decision to acquire SpeedNet. Well, today we asked the leader of the opposition business, Patrick Faber, about their walkout and the message behind it.
Absolutely. I stand by that. Um, what was attempted to be done there was that we were to conduct the business as normal. And I'm not discounting the importance of any of what was going on in there. The CARICOM Freedom of Movement bill, in fact, that we were about to debate is very, very important. And in fact, at some point this week, we still intend to get out our points on that. We had just concluded an information session with the Deputy Director General of Foreign Trade, and we raised many concerns about that bill. So that business was important, but I think we would have missed an opportunity to sound the alarm, and send the signal loud and clear that um, what was happening in the boardroom at BTL was much more important, and that the government and the leadership at BTL were trying to hoodwink the Belizean people into a deal that, of course, all of us understand by now. It's not the UDP, it's not only the independent senators, the business community, the church, everybody in this country pretty much has sounded the alarm to the government that we don't want this deal without the proper processes for accountability being followed, and they were trying to push that down.
But one independent senator didn't walk out, and that is the church representative, that is Louis Wade. Bobber says Wade may have stayed inside, but he shares their position, and the churches are on their side of the opposition and the social partners.
What's your thoughts on Mr. Wade, Senator Wade deciding to stay, though? In your view, was he what people categorize as a sellout in the moment?
Well, I wouldn't go so far. I wouldn't say that. I would merely say that I know from his position with some of the other media heads, Jules Vasquez and I think Mose Hyde, and he himself at one point held an entire press conference to say how strongly they oppose this. And I think he missed a wonderful opportunity to send that message loud and clear, in particular since it affects his business. But we understand that he did not sit there in his capacity as a private businessman. But even more so then, because we know the church's position, I believe he should have left with the other senators and made the powerful stance. In fact, I want people to understand that had Senator Louis Wade walked out with the rest of us, that the meeting itself would not have been able to continue because they would not have had a quorum in the Senate. As you know, the opposition has 3 members and there are 4 senators there. So it would have been 7-6. And the quorum necessary would not have, I believe that is the case, would not have been possible, and the meeting would have had to close down at least for the time. And maybe that's a signal we want to explore for the future.
Faber also underscored the importance of collaboration and why his party met with the NTUCB today.
So the business of labor and the business of politics is not so far apart. And in this instance, I think, but not only in this instance, all the time, it is good for the political leaders and the labor leaders, especially those who aren't in government, in the case of the UDP. And since we are the opposition, the recognized opposition, to have discussions with the labor. So we don't have a problem. In fact, I think this kind of thing should happen not only when we're in crisis, but in other instances as well.
And while the final decision to acquire Smart had dropped off the radar as the Smart Stream payment scandal took the forefront, Bobber says that it comes as no surprise to him that the PUP would take advantage of the noise in the market and attempt to go through with the acquisition. Here's more.
I think what is at stake here for the Briseños, and what is at stake here for the PUP in general is very large. And so in a way, they have to proceed with what is going on here. But the Belizean people should also ensure that they don't. because this is, in my opinion, personal, private, business-oriented, over-country movements, and we should not stand for that. And indeed, I believe the Prime Minister and his administration probably sees, well, there's so much other things going on. What has happened, you're right, in the Ministry of Defense has really taken up the spotlight for a number of weeks now, in fact, because we continue to unravel what's going on there, and it gets worse and worse every time. And so they might have thought, well, the pot has pretty much simmered in terms of all the ruckus that had gone on in the earlier times when BTL's acquisition of Smart was on the table. So maybe it's a good time. And in fact, they didn't make much noise about it at all. We understand that from out of Cabinet's meeting on Tuesday, we didn't hear anything. So they were trying to sneak it under the table. But it is good that it is a sequence of events that need to happen, and that is why we can't remain silent at any point. And that is why even our walkout was so important, because we can't let it slide by. We can't do the business that the people had decided and then wait. We had to make an alarm at the immediate time, because the time is going and the processes may well pass us by.
And we take a break now, but when we come back, we'll introduce you to the delegates for the Miss Earth competition. Stay tuned.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The success of my business means a lot to my family, especially my brother, because I'm continuing his legacy, making butterfly art collages. It was very hard for me to receive payments. I had to go directly to meet the person I'm purchasing from and who I'm selling to receive payment. Because I opened my business account with Atlantic Bank, now I can make and receive payments online, and this has made my job much easier.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Need to submit your sickness benefit claim online and have a physical medical certificate? Here's how you can do it. First, go to ssbportal.org.bz and log into your My Social Security account. Next, on your dashboard, click Benefits and choose Forms. Review the requirements, then click Continue to proceed. Click Apply under Sickness Benefit to start your claim. Review and confirm your banking information. If it is not correct, select No and follow the steps to update your banking details. If your banking information is correct, select Yes. Next, if your illness is not related to an injury at work, select No and proceed to upload your medical certificate. Select your claim period and confirm your employer details. Read the declarations and click each to agree. Click Submit, and you're done. A confirmation email will be sent to you. Your employer will also receive an email with your claim details and a request for your salary information. If needed, submit your sickness benefit claim online and receive real-time status updates.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Did you know that the Ministry of Finance is secretly trying to introduce a new tax system that will make it even harder for Belizean businesses to succeed? The new system will require all invoices to be sent to the Belize Tax Service for approval, even before your customers get it. They say it's for efficiency, but is this really more efficient for you? Before you can get paid, they want to see your invoice. Every invoice must be pre-approved. They don't care if it slows down your business, affects your cash flow, or adds major complexity or cost to your business. Instead of empowering you, this government is only concerned with what they can take. They are suppressing your business and making it harder than ever for you to succeed. Were you consulted about this oppressive, draconian system? It's time to stand up and speak out before it is too late.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Dengue and Zika alert. Do your part by preventing mosquito breeding. The Ministry of Health reminds the public that as we enter the rainy season, be aware of the dangers of dengue, chikungunya, and Zika. These are infectious diseases that are transmitted by the bite of Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus mosquitoes. These mosquitoes are most active in early morning and late afternoon. Activities that should be done to prevent dengue and Zika include: avoid having containers that can collect water in your yard. Cover water storage containers such as drums. Change the water in flower pots every 4 or 5 days. These are ideal breeding sites for the mosquito. With the elimination of breeding sites in and around the yard, dengue and Zika can be avoided. Dengue and Zika begin with sudden onset of high fever. Other signs and symptoms include rash, joint pain, eye pain. The public is also encouraged to use mosquito repellent spray or lotion on the body or clothing. Do your part by preventing mosquito breeding. A health and wellness message from your Ministry of Health.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We continue our newscast with a story about the price of a domestic flight is set to go up, and that is by almost 10%. And it has nothing to do with the local airlines. It's a security surcharge, and this comes after the hijacking of a Tropic Air flight in April of 2025, when an unscreened passenger with a knife got on board and hijacked the plane with 16 persons aboard. That exposed a domestic air travel network that completely lacked any screening infrastructure. Since then, and the 7 News expose of politically connected companies being paid but not delivering security, proper security has been put in place. And now passengers will have to pay an added $10 aviation security fee per departing passenger traveling through municipal airports within Belize. And in other news, Cabinet also gave its approval for amendments to be made to the cybercrime bill to clarify the scope of the offense in a manner consistent with the constitutional protection of freedom of expression. The amendments also include an important guardrail requiring the DPP's written consent before prosecution of an offense that can be initiated. This new amendment will preserve the government's ability to combat serious forms of technologically, that is, facilitated abuse, end quote. You can call this the MIRA clause, since it protects against the kind of abuse that led to the frivolous charges against Alberto August. And at the top of the news, you heard the Prime Minister spent 2 hours having lunch with the Miss Earth Belize delegates, but not even 5 minutes with the media. After that lunch, however, we got a chance to meet the 4 delegates ahead of Saturday's pageant. Our very own Courtney Menzies has this story.
It's pageant week for the 4 delegates of Miss Earth Belize, and today they enjoyed lunch with the Prime Minister at Maracas Bar and Grill in Orange Walk. According to the delegates, they engaged in productive dialogue to highlight their environmental concerns.
This event was nothing less than amazing. It was awesome. This is my second time meeting the Prime Minister of Belize. The first time was when I competed in the Queen of the Bay pageant under the Belize City title. So I found the conversation well informed. And of course, he has the right role as the Prime Minister. I wouldn't bet anything else on it. Okay, so my platform that I'm campaigning on is called From Waste to Work, Reviving Culture Through Reuse. And it's basically, you learn that not because something is old doesn't mean it cannot be anew. We try to take old materials, trash, and we try to turn them into treasure or cultural or meaningful pieces. We try to bring back ourselves.
Inspirational, you know, I get to see a different side of the Prime Minister. We always hear about him talking about government issue like finance and stuff, but now that he actually talks about our environment is something rare that you see Prime Ministers talking about, you know, so you get to see a different side of him, and I enjoyed that. Is there any article about the same Star Soon? The river was polluted, and it drove me to created this advocacy, paddling for preservation, protecting the Belize River, preserving our heritage. So I use paddling as a sport because I am a national athlete to raise awareness so that people can become educated and be environmental stewards and take
advocacy, and he seemed very impressed with the work that I do with my community. I'm the community officer for the National Biodiversity Office, so he made a joke saying that he's my boss because I work for the government. Is community-driven biodiversity conservation and youth environmental education, and it's basically just educating people to properly care and coexist with our environment. And so it's a very environmentally conscious pageant. It's one of the big 3 international pageants, but it's completely focused on environmental change and advocacy, and I really think that it aligns with my personal values and also what I wanted to highlight, not just as a Belizean, but as a person.
Great. We got to talk to him about the different environmental finance part of conservation stories through my grandmother, through my family. Everyone who I am involved in has played some part in conservation in Belize. So why did you say that their advocacy for Miss Earth is advocacy for me, because I've been doing environmental conservation and living among people who do it. I have great examples all over Belize, and so I chose to do Miss Earth because I thought that we need to give this platform a lot more substance and really focus on actually doing the things that will preserve the environment and not just pretending to do it.
Are you nervous? And the outgoing Miss Earth Belize was also there.
I am just passing over my knowledge on the pageant itself, on my experience. I am also learning a lot from each of the delegates. Each of them are championing for a cause that is greater than them. And I believe that we will have a really good representative this year at the Miss Earth pageant. What pageant, as you mentioned, in Belize, we have actually won. This is the only pageant that Belize has ever won internationally. And I would say that it's at the standard of Miss Universe already, because it has all the attention. The only difference with Miss Earth and Miss Universe is the fact that Miss Earth stands for a great cause. They are very high, they have high priority on the advocacy part.
She told us how she has been helping her delegates prepare for the first Miss Earth pageant in the country. 3 to 1. The pageant will be held at the Civic Center in Belize City. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
I forget. Just know, what to say. I forget my name.
That's okay.
Yeah. The pageant starts at 7 p.m. on Saturday night. And that's all we have for you on 7 News on this Thursday night. Thank you so much for watching. I am Miriam Abdul-Kawi. You can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook page. Have a good night and join me back here tomorrow. Have a good night, folks.